I'll be covering the last chapter for the module, which will be chapter 10. So we'll be talking about communicating the strategy and developing action plans for strategic management. I will cover a few objectives, which involves the first one is describing the interrelationship among situational analysis, strategy formulation, value-adding service delivery, as well as support strategies and action. Understanding the manner in which strategies are translated into action. List the component of an action plan as well as explain the function of each component. Cite some reasons that cause strategies to be difficult to implement in healthcare organizations. Suggest some of effective ways to overcome barriers in implementation of strategies. Understand need for contingency planning as well as knowing when contingency plans should be undertaken. Relate the map and compass metaphor to strategic thinking as well as strategic planning and managing the strategic momentum. So strategic planning process, this is the stage for strategic planning process. You have situational analysis, you have strategy formulation as well as your planning implementation. So action plans falls under the planning implementation. This is overall strategic planning map, the hierarchy of strategic decision as well as alternatives. In terms of the flow of your strategic planning hierarchy or strategic thinking hierarchy, you start off with decisional strategies, the directional strategies, which involves your mission, vision, values, and goals. And then you move into your adaptive strategies, then you move into your market strategies and competitive strategies, then your final one will be implementation strategies. So we are on the final leg of the implementation strategies, which is the unit action plans, which involves your objectives, your actions, as well as your timeline and responsibilities. So the logic for implementation strategies involves is a means to an end type of activities. In which you have your ends, which is your directional strategies. You also have ends of service delivery strategies, but most important thing is that you have action plans that leads to those ends. So action plans involves objectives, actions, timelines, and responsibilities. Implementation outcomes. Implementation outcomes involves identifying action to achieve the objective, developing timelines for actions, assigning responsibility for actions, as well as assigning reporting responsibilities. Strategic management paradox that should be understood as well as keep in mind always is that the more unpredictable external environment, the more strategic planning process is needed. Strategic management is a top-down activity as well as a bottom-up process. Strategic management is a democratic process where the boss is in control. Strategic management is an organized, messy process. It is about the big picture, emphasizing the detail. People cannot perform strategic management until they understand the process, and people cannot understand the process until they perform strategic management. Everybody wants a strategic plan, but it is the process that is important. Strategic management concerns effectiveness as well as efficiency. Strategic management controls and empowers. Strategic management concern destructive as well as concern destruction as well as renewal. The rules of success are written outside the organization, but competitive advantage is created inside of the organization. Managers seek quantifiable data, but strategic management is basically a qualitative art. Strategic management is a philosophy, but has techniques. Management strategies. So managing strategic momentum involves evaluating action plans. So you have to ask a few questions when you are managing strategic momentum. So the first one is, has the organization overall strategy been well communicated to all members of the organization? Do the organizational unit have the resources required for successful implementation of the strategy? Is there a high level of commitment to the strategy within the organizational unit? Has the organizational unit developed action plans, including realistic objective timelines, responsibilities, and budgets? Are the organizational objective consistent and compatible with the strategy? Do the organizational units have the managerial and employee capabilities required for successfully implementing the organization's strategy? Do the combined action plan accomplish the overall strategy of the organization? Learning through change as well as maintaining strategies affecting strategic thinking and planning. So learning through change and maintaining strategies affect strategic thinking and planning. So you have your strategic map here, which you have your 3 stages: strategic thinking, strategic planning, as well as managing momentum. These are the 3 stages that you should always keep in mind, especially when you are going through your assignments. You should keep these 3 things in mind. When you're creating your strategy, you should move from thinking to planning and then managing momentum. But this is a feedback loop in which, whatever you are doing, when you are thinking of your strategies, coming up, looking at external illustration, analyzing the data, or, kind of formulating questions and formulating ideas, you should also think about, in terms of your planning stage, okay, now, you have your planning stage. You also having a bilateral or trilateral exercise in which you are thinking as well as you are managing momentum of your planning process as well as the way you are taking action. So your planning process involves looking at the situational analysis as well as you are assessing the environment, both external and internal, as well as formulating your directional strategies, which way you will engage, how you will engage, and which actions that you will take. So that's your direction strategies. You are looking at various methods or various directions of strategies. You have your adaptive strategies, you have your market entry, as well as your competitive strategy. You are thinking, okay, which way should I go? But you have all 4 different types of strategies, which you can apply all the time, or you can apply entirely, or you can pick and choose, okay, which one is more important to your organization, and then you kind of move towards that direction. Planning the implementation, you look at your service delivery and look at some of the support strategies and also the action plan that you should come up with that will help you throughout. So the support strategies, such as your communication, service delivery strategies, such as what are some of the activities that you should do that will help you along the way. So those are things. So your action plans come straight from your mission and your objectives, and then that determines the action plan. But also you have to set, what are the responsibilities as well as the time frame in which the action plan should be accomplished. So the do's and the don'ts of strategic management. So the do's, you should understand that strategic management is a philosophy, not just a technique. Remember that processes, strategic thinking is more important than the product, which is the plan. Involve everyone as possible in the process to ensure the ownership. Realize that identifying the external issue is an external task. It's an essential task. Expect that it is really hard work. Expect that it's really hard work and may take years for folks to think strategically. Remember, it's about renewal, but be ready to learn, rethink, reinvent, and create. Expect the process to be exciting and challenging. Expect it to be the magic bullet. So don't expect it to be the magic bullet. Don't expect it to work without full commitment from the top management. Rely on the consultant. Don't rely on the consultant. Consider utilizing your own staff as much as possible. Don't rely on outsiders or small staff groups. Don't expect everyone to understand it at first. So people learn by doing. So don't expect immediate results. It may mean fundamental change. Follow the process blindly. We need both a map and a compass. Don't expect that your organization will survive without change. So that covers pretty much everything I wanted to cover for this particular chapter. But now I have a few things that I wanted to show you, a few YouTube videos that I would like to present. And then after that,